both of them. Come on! What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be cooking Thor's hammer. Not this one, but this one. They call this Thor's hammer. It is beef shin. And let's see if I can make it worthy enough for everybody, or for this hammer to come to me. Okay, so first things first, we need to marinate Thor's hammer. Okay, I'm allowed to pick it up now because I still need to prep it. So I'm just going to use this plate instead of just marinating it on this board, just easier to clean up. And now let's go ahead and salt it. Now let's just start off with a bit of oil, well, enough oil. So let's get that everywhere. Now this is going to get a bit messy, so I've got some gloves on to make it much easier. We'll just rub that oil everywhere around it. Okay, so the first mistake, I rubbed the oil with my gloves on, so I just had to wash it again because now we have to add our salt, our seasoning. Let's get enough in there. Let me just use the tip of my gloves to move it around, or just keep it up there. Wipe it off. Get some salt everywhere. If you like, we can add some pepper, or you can add some pepper. It just depends on you. I just like a little bit. Let's get that all over. Just remember, since I'm using the plate, we're still going to rub it around on all the spices in the plate. Because it's got like a slight depth to it, it'll be easier. Okay, next we just get 1 tablespoon of ginger and garlic paste. I'm going to throw it on top. We'll mix it all together at the end. And since I'm going to make it, slightly different, I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of Kashmir chili powder. So it's not going to be a standard beef shin. It's going to be my take on it. And 1 teaspoon of mixed masala. Now we can start mixing it in. Give it a nice rub. Let's get all the spices in from the plate. If you need more oil, just add in a bit more oil. But this looks like it's perfect. Okay, perfect. Once we've got it nice and marinated, we're going to use some twine to tie it up nice and tight. Because if we're going to have it in the oven for a couple of hours, it's going to get soft and tender. And you can find this twine anywhere. It's pretty cheap as well. Comes like this. Just make sure it's food grade, because we don't want the fibers to go into the meat and stuff. And I'm going to tie it up with some thyme and some rosemary. I haven't tied up a piece of meat before. It's always the first time. Let's see if it works. I'm just going to double up this twine to make sure it's nice and tough enough, it doesn't break while it's cooking. Alright, it is better to put these all around, but I'm just going to try and get them on the top, which will make it easier for me to tie it. Let's get the first knot in. Leave a comment down below if you know an easier way to tie it. Just hold that and just make a nice tight knot in there. Now we can just cut off this little piece. Once we have our meat nice and ready and all tied up, let's just prep the beef stock. I'm just going to use 1 cube of beef stock. Just here, and a little bit of hot water. I would say 1.5 cups. That's about 1.5 cups. Perfect. And we leave that to dissolve in the meantime. And we can mix it with a spoon or a fork or whatever you prefer. But let's just make sure that whole block dissolves. Okay, so now we can just get the oil heated up. Let's just get the gas stove going. And, okay, I don't know how that hammer got there. I wasn't able to carry it earlier on. I'm not sure how, but yeah, it's there. We're going to start off with, I think this is called a Dutch oven. I'm not 100% sure. I think so. It is pretty enamel. So we're just going to put a bit more oil. So yeah, then we're just going to fry the shin, give it a nice sear on all the sides as soon as the oil is hot. Okay, just make sure it's nice and hot before you sear it. Yeah, you can just hear that. But we don't want it too hot. We don't want it to just super burn. Just add more oil if you need. Okay, it actually fits perfectly in this pot. Okay, so once it's nice and seared all around, this looks actually smelling good. You can just set it aside. Just keep it one side. I was actually supposed to use the same I was actually supposed to use the same um, Dutch oven, but slightly burnt. So let me just clean it up a little bit. So I actually decided not to wash it because all the flavor is going to come off, and we're going to use that flavor as well in the oven. And don't forget, this gets really hot. Got to use a cloth to hold it. First, for the stew part of it, we're going to start off with our onions. Let's get all of that in. It looks a lot, but it's going to be baking for about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So it's going to disappear basically. Let's just get that frying slowly. Let's add in a bit of broth for beef stock. And let that fry so the onion just gets slightly smaller, soft. Give it about 3 or 4 minutes and let's see how that works. Now let's add in tomatoes. I just cut it into 4 pieces. 3 tomatoes. Okay, once the tomatoes are in, we can go ahead and add in a cheap, what is this, a mullet wine? That's more or less what they use for cooking. So we're just going to use a touch of red wine. We'll add in the rest of the beef stock. Okay, not too much, otherwise it's going to overflow. And I've got mushrooms, but we're going to add the mushrooms later on, maybe halfway through the baking process, because it's going to disappear if I basically add it in now. And let's just make some space so we can put Thor's hammer in between. There you go. Fits perfectly. You can smell that wine already. It smells really good. Okay, and the final step, there's a small trick. We can use baking paper just to put on the top, just so the top of the bone doesn't dry up. We'll just cover that slightly, and we'll just cover the bone with foil so it doesn't change color. It stays the same color it is, the marinated color. I've got the oven on at the moment, so it should be ready for the oven. Oh yes, and not forgetting the red chili to give it some heat, just 3 dried red chilies. But we can just leave it on top because it will soak and mix together in the oven. Okay, to be honest, this is heavier than I expected. Just fits. Now we're gonna slow oven bake it. Okay, so it's gonna bake for 2 hours. Set the timer before I put the mushrooms in, and then another hour and a half or so. Just remember 150 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the 2 hours are up. You can just take a look at it. Let's just bring it out a little bit. Okay, let's just give it a nice taste. Just make sure the salt and everything is perfect. Hot. Wow, delicious. Let's just add in the mushrooms all around. That looks good. Feels a bit tough. I'm not sure how it's supposed to feel. Now that the mushrooms are in, I'm just going to add just a little bit of butter. Just going to try and get a piece up there. Let it melt down. Let's just try and stick it in. And just a few bits all around. It's about 4 blocks of butter. Now let's just put it back in and leave it for another hour. Okay, and it's finally ready. Oh, that looks good. Gotta use like 2 hands on this. Okay, yeah, so this is ready and it looks perfect. Okay, so first things first, let's just take out the foil from the top. Oh yeah, this looks good. Let's remove this. Yeah, that looks yummy. Let's cut the string. Let's do it towards the bone side first. It'll be easier, I think. I expected it to break apart, but I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't leave it long enough, but let's cut it open and see. Time for the taste test. Since it's not falling apart, I had to transfer it to this plate, make it much easier. Just cut a nice piece out there. It is cooked, obviously, right through 3 hours. Let's try it with let's try the gravy because I tasted that 2 hours through and it was delicious. Just dip that in. Try and get some mushrooms as well with it. Mmm, perfect. Couldn't have asked for anything better. Just a bit disappointed with this hammer. So let's see if I'm actually worthy enough. Oh no, doesn't look like it. It didn't fall apart. Maybe the next try. Okay, since I wasn't happy with it yesterday, I put it back in the oven for another hour and I left it in all night, and this is the next morning. And let's take a look at it now. Okay, now this is what I was looking for yesterday. This looks good. This is like just fall apart. This is perfect. Now I think I'm worthy. Mmm, delicious and soft. Just fall apart. Take a look at that. But anyway, give a like, hit the subscribe, and click here for a nice biryani my auntie from Durban made. Super delicious, super easy recipe. Let me go and enjoy this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.